So let's suppose I have a text file here, and it's got a whole bunch of lines in it. These are basically all the items in predecessor. I got them pretty much from this website here. I'll leave a link in the description below. And I pretty much took my time and wrote down the name, passive boosts that you get, the actives and passive abilities in there too. So let me show you. This one, for example, is Ortis right here. So I put down 20 physical power, 20 ability haste, and 10 physical pen. And then the ones that are active, I left a marker here and I said active, and then I just put whatever it did. And then if there's multiple passives or actives, the way I did that was I just put them in a separate string, like so. See that it's in a separate string. The concept is the same. Let's suppose there's a file and you want to search this file for certain strings, right? Let's say I want to search for spell shield. And let's say the ones that give me magical power, right? You can't really do that because this whole thing is treated as one string. It would be nice if I can find only the lines that contain this one or this one. So here's my code. By the way, guys, upon editing this video, I did forget one thing. In this function right here, make sure you have a break. Now you can go ahead and pause the video just to quickly walk through what I'm doing here. So let's say I have a Windows command prompt here. This is the location where this Python script is, and this is the path, right? So here's the path. The very first thing you need to put in is a file, right? But what if I want to search every file that starts with a txt? Then it works. See, it found a txt and it found hits that have the words spell shield in it. It looks like it found 3: True Silver Bracelet, Dreadwind, and Spellbreaker, and then all the abilities and what it does is over there. Now let's say I want to save this in a file called spellshield.txt, right? Pay attention right here. This is where I'm saving it. If I just hit enter, it finds those 3 hits, and check this out. Spell shield. A new file has been created, and everything that had spell shield in it has been captured right here. So yeah, pretty cool. And this is how I did it in the code. Start down here. We get every argument that the user inputted, right? Python, py, the file, search string, and then a certain option. Now, here's the cool part about my code. Let's say you don't necessarily want to put that there. Let's say put it here. Show.txt. Let's say I have multiple search strings, right? Let's say I also want the ones that have blinks in it. So notice how I can put a /out over here before the search strings, but not like these have to be the same, like what you want to look for. Now let me make this a little more challenging. Let's say I want to search for, okay, that's really confusing, right? Basically it's trying to look for, in this directory, every file that contains red on the left side of the dot and a T right afterwards, and then at the end of the extension there's a T, right? If I run that, check this out. In show, it looks like we got a hit where blink, yeah, see, blink. So now it found 4 items this time. That's because these 3 had spell shields in it, and this one has a blink in it, Rift Walkers. So pretty cool, right? You could see that the order of your search strings doesn't matter. Where you specify where you want to save doesn't matter. Let's say I don't want to save it. I just want to see it printed to the screen. I can see it here. And let me go ahead and do a dir on this guy. Okay. What did I do? Star red, right? Dot T star T. So you see it found a hit. It found a file that meets these parameters. Now, what if I did this? What if I take out this E and just change it altogether? Then look at that, file not found. That's because there are no files here that has R and D right next to them. You see that? These are the capabilities of this tool I have, and let me show you. So it takes in the entire arg line, right? And then I have multiple files in here. And this is just the part 1. In part 2, I'm going to talk about how you can have multiple search strings search with certain conditions. Like, let's say I want spell shield and blink on the same line. Right now, what it's doing is called an OR match. And OR basically means if you find your search string on that line, then it's a hit, no matter what. But what if there's multiple search strings and I want to do like a AND for them, right? So let's say I did this. Let's say I wanted magical power and health, right? Let's say I only want the lines that contain spell shield, magical power, and health in it. That would be an AND. That would be a slash match equals AND. But I don't have this capability here. That will be in the next video. For now, I just want to explain the backbone of this tool. What this tool can do, this code, the program I mean, you can search any given file with this wildcard. The order doesn't matter, it's not case sensitive, and it can search multiple files. Down here you can see that it does search algorithm of parse process of entire arg line. This is the entire arg line. And how many entries is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. This counts as one entire entry. It's just delimited by commas, but it's still 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Now we don't really care about this one. This is 0. This is 1. This is 2. Okay? So basically I'm saying look at the entire arg line but skip the first one. So what do we do with that? We send that over to parse process. This function is basically your middle guy. He organizes where each entry is going to be. And because of this function, the user, you can put your search strings before or after your options. And also it makes it so options are optional. You don't have to use /out, /match, or even /window. I create a empty list. This one is going to contain your file path, and this one is going to be a list of search strings. These two are mandatory. If these two are empty, then the program will just print out an error and exit. This one handles your match. This one handles a window, basically printing N1 lines above and N2 lines below, just like in VAX. And this one handles your output file if you want to save one. And again, these are optional. These are mandatory. So what do we want to do once we get an entire arg line from the user? Well, we just have to pretty much parse through where each guy goes. If the first argument is 0, then that's basically this guy, the wild card, and that's what we want to use, right, to search for files. And we pop this guy and then insert whatever that was. And here I'm saying if the first character starts with the slash and there's an equal sign in there, first it checks if that file even exists already. Otherwise, if it exists, then just remove it. And then what it does is pops this and then inserts the slash out. If you have a slash out equals lots dot txt, right? Whew, that was a lot. So you can see a lot of items have what? Health in it? Health, magical power, and blink, or not blink, sorry, spell shield. So once again, I didn't realize this when I was recording, but you see in the file lots, there are a bunch of repeated lines, like Leaf Song right here, and that's because it has health and magical power in it. So in order to get rid of the whole repeating thing, you are going to need this brink, so don't forget it. If I checked everything and arg is greater than 0 and it doesn't contain a slash in the beginning, right? If the arg is 0, then that means it's a search string. So every search string I find, put it in here, and it's delimited by a comma. It's actually going to split this guy up with the comma, lowercase it, so everything is case insensitive, and then adds that into this guy. So this becomes a list, essentially. And then at the end, we have a platter that our server pretty much organized, and now he's going to hand it off to the chef, per se, right? So now let's go over here, because once we're done with parse process, it returns a list, right? And guess what? Search algorithm, this function here, actually takes in a list. And in this function, I called it a param list. So here I kind of laid out just for me to remember what each entry is what. So for example, entry 0 is file path, entry 1 is search strings, etc. Now, these are some guard clauses I have. This is just one guard clause I have. So let's say if the user didn't provide a file path or a search string, then we just say missing file path or search strings and then exit. This is just a check for me to say, like, if the left side of the file path is empty, then just make it a full path. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and print that out. So it looks like, let me clear my screen so I can see what's going on. Okay, so here's the path I was talking about. So now it's a full path. See that? That's the reason why I did that. So then, once everything is settled, go to search dir and pass that list in. And then here's search dir. And what we want to do is there's an empty file and we want a flag that says if nothing is found. And if nothing is found, then just print nothing is found. But what if something is found? Okay. So here is where you can do your wildcards. And the way I did it was with this fn match filter. I did an os list dir, and what I passed in was the this guy, the star red star.t star t. So let me go ahead and do a dir star red star dot t star t. If I do that, this is the file that I want to process, basically. So that's what this line does. And then once I do that, I try and open it. And this will work if it's an ASCII file, like a txt file, log, dat, etc. But if it's something complicated like PowerPoint or an Excel spreadsheet, then it's just gonna say could not open and skips. Now, let me show you this. Let's say I do a star dot t star t. Yeah, why not? Look at that. It was able to pick up all of these. What if I did... Let me put an S in there. Yeah, looks like that worked. And then if I put a... Let's put a B, because there's no B's, right? So that's how I was able to capture the wildcard. If the user didn't specify any match, again, I'll talk about this in the next video, then it's an OR match. So what does OR match do? It looks like it returns a list because we're assigning it to this list over here. So let's look at OR match. OR match is right here. We're basically reading the file, and if a search string is in the line, then just append it. And the other thing I did miss is we do want a break right here. And then once we have all the hits, it's sent to here. We're returning the list. And this is where that list gets assigned. Now if the number of hits is greater than 0, and guess what? We change this flag to false. So this error message won't show up. And then we go ahead and print some asterisks. We go ahead and print this out. Print the file that it found, and then it printed out all the lines that had spell shield in it. And if the user specified a file to save it, then we basically write it to the file. And that's pretty much it. In the next video, I'll talk about how you can do the /match option, and that's taking multiple search strings and applying OR, AND, NAND, NOR, XOR, and XNOR logicals. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.